And we're live from Win the Storm 2023. Today is the last day. We're getting ready to wrap up this thing. Long week, great week. Met a lot of awesome, interesting people. Had a lot of really cool guests on the show. I think the biggest thing that I've gotten out of this is the relationships that we've built along the way during this tour.
Absolutely.
Has just been phenomenal. Like I got to meet Dan Z. That would he be your employer? Is that someone you work with, or is he your partner?
So Dan Z and I are partners. Originally, he had started in the roofing industry. I was kind of on the solar side.
Mhm.
In the last 2 years, we started to integrate, and I moved back down to Arizona where my market or my network kind of was. Dan and I were in some similar different investments, and so we kind of crossed each other's path and ended up really wanting to work together. So I relocated, moved to Arizona, started building a couple companies with him. But
Wow.
yeah, we're partners.
That's amazing. So one of the companies is called Alpha Army. Explain to me what that does and what it is.
I appreciate you asking that. So I actually founded Alpha back in 2018 before I'd met Dan, before I'd met Rio, two of my business partners that I'm currently still working with. And the idea is I wanted to build something that the first name of it was Alpha Life Group. And I was in life insurance at the time. And I wanted to teach young entrepreneurs like myself that had, kind of a background of, not maybe they weren't meant for school, or maybe they had a tough childhood, a parent life, education, things like that. Generally, I did really well with people that were broken and struggling. And so I wanted to take advantage of the opportunity I had as an 18-year-old to build something that would create sustainable success for young people and create a lane that they could change their life. And so we started Alpha Sales Group, me and a couple of my best friends, with the idea that we could bring and build this idea of surrounding young people with alphas. And I know that you guys had talked about on your podcast, like what really is the definition of an alpha. And I know that Dan's definition of it is someone that's going to, an alpha is the person that leads the wolf pack. An alpha is the person that leads from the front and puts his people first. And so I wanted to create an environment for people that were lost or struggling or broken, that were my age, to have a community that they could cling to. And they had an educational source that could help them develop an income. And so it was special. It started with Alpha Life Group, turned into Alpha Sales Group as we got into solar. And as we started to bring in the public adjusting, the roofing, and the solar side all into one, and we still are doing life insurance, we started Alpha Army, because we realized it's not just one group. We want to embody what an army looks like. And in order to take over any country or any industry, you need an army with you.
Absolutely.
And so that's where Alpha came from.
Okay. No, that's pretty cool. And I like how you started out with, like, you wanted to give a space for younger, entrepreneurial spirited, I guess, young men and women, and a place to go to learn, that could be mentored and coached, I'm assuming. So would something like that, is that like something that you sign up for? Is it a 6-month course? Is it something you join and you become a lifetime member for $4.99 a year, or what?
Yeah, funny you ask. So at first, I wasn't really sure what it was. It was a logo, and me and my buddy that had this idea. And so for the longest time, people were like, we were traveling all over the country doing sales, and here in Miami, we're in Los Angeles, San Francisco, Phoenix, Scottsdale, all those different places, meeting and networking with all these young people. And they were like, dude, like, you guys are awesome, and I want to network with you. I want to work with you guys. And they were like, where do we sign up? And I'm like, to be honest, man, there's no structure. We don't even have an LLC. So the funny thing is, I started that when I was 18, and over the last 5-6 years, as I've started to put myself around different mentorships, and I've started to excel in sales and building my different companies, it started to become more and more real, obviously. And so did the opportunity for other people that were interested in working with us. So it started as just a sales group. And then as we started to build real, actual sustainable companies, and I started to partner with companies like Adjust Pro Solutions, the largest public adjuster in the state of Arizona, ProTech Contracting, which is one of only 3 KB1 general contracting companies with a master elite license with GAF, or certification, I should say.
Yeah.
And so as I myself continued to strive and look for, that mentorship and that structure in my own life as a young individual, I had a big following of people behind me that also wanted to come along not just for the ride, but to be able to change their life. And so it was amazing. It's been special that Alpha and the brand and everything that it means, like, it's not just a company that was built to say, hey, come here, we do the best sales training. It's something that it's like, hey, look, like, this has been a mission from the start, and it started with basically nothing, and it was just an idea, and slowly but surely it's materialized into something special. Now it's a community. And so we use Alpha as really our recruiting and branding platform for all 4 of our companies. And so we have an amazing online social media presence right now that a lot of young entrepreneurs that generally find themselves in a washed out, watered down type of sales opportunity. Or what happened to me a lot of the time is you find yourself in a sales opportunity where you might be taken advantage of. So what we wanted to build was the opportunity that whether you life insurance is for your roofing or public adjusting or solar, whatever it was, we're not going to put you in a box. We're going to create the opportunity. We understand that sales translates to any industry, and we want to give that opportunity to anybody that is motivated and wants to have that chance. And so now you guys have the opportunity to check us out online at official.alpha.army. You guys can check me out at the Daniel Jiles on Instagram as well. Everything that you guys will see on our social medias is going to streamline you guys towards our companies, towards our websites, to see exactly what we're all about, that we really put our money where our mouth is. And we're all about investing into other people's lives and making sure that we're building leaders and strategic young entrepreneurs that know what they're doing and what markets to get themselves into.
Yeah. Okay. So it almost sounds like, and I'm probably wrong about this, so it almost sounds like is it a mastermind group? Is it do you hold retreats? Is it something you sign up for and it's like a weekly call with a sales coach? Like, explain more of that. Like, what am I signing up for, if I'm even signing up for anything? Or is it just a website that I go to, watch your social media and try to pick up things like people do on our podcast? Or is it more of a subscription type of thing?
No, it's not a subscription. It's more of a community, I would say. Now, everybody that's a part of the Alpha Army obviously works within one of our 4 companies, either Alpha Army, ProTech, Adjust Pro, or America First Energy. And so we use Alpha to show the world who we are and what we're doing as a company. The type of culture, the type of incentivization, the type of education that we have is important. And through that marketing, a lot of people end up going through our links and ads, and they join that Alpha Army whenever they set up an interview with us, to be honest with you. And if we see that person's a great fit for our company, and we see that they're, morally and the direction of where they're wanting to take their career can align with who we are as a company, then we welcome them into the Alpha Army. Obviously, nothing is given; it's all earned. And so if you don't come in and you're not hungry and ready to dominate and fall in order and humble yourself to be a part of something bigger than yourself, then you're probably not going to make it. But as part of that interview, we try to place and we try to figure out what the skill set is of that person and put them on the right seat on the bus, because we know that there's a lot of opportunity out there, and young people like myself are very easily money motivated. And so we try to use Alpha as a way and an opportunity to put people in the best position for themselves to thrive. And that may not be their end all be all, but it's at least a way that they can start with step 1 and be around a group and community of alphas. And what I mean by that is people that are leading from the front, doing what they say that they're going to do, doing the work the first time. That when you're around a group like that, regardless of how old you are, where you came from, what your past experience was, doesn't matter if you were, in jail, doesn't matter if you just graduated from college, Harvard, Princeton, it doesn't matter, man.
Yeah.
We've got people from all over the place that are joining our army and changing lives.
Okay. So basically what it sounds like to me is like you've created like this recruiting funnel for your businesses. So people go on there and what are they filling out an application, like going on to your social media your platforms? Yeah,
we want to know a little bit about them. Like, go ahead and submit your information. That way we can reach back out to you. We don't ask people to submit too much information. Really, just fill out the link, give us your phone number, and once we meet over the phone, we'll probably learn everything that you guys. We'll probably learn if you guys are a good fit or not. Okay. And if you're not, then at least they have our social media and they can follow us until maybe it is a good fit in the future.
Right on. Okay. So if I was looking for a job, I go onto your website, I go in there, I put in my information. Someone from your team will reach out to me. Then at that point in time, it sounds like you're going to figure out where I would be a good fit within your companies.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously, if you already have an idea of the direction that you guys want to go in, then we're going to empower you in that direction. Now, at the end of the day, we're going to be realistic, and we're going to show you all the opportunity that there is. And we think that's the most beneficial thing for people.
Okay. And I'm assuming you set up some kind of training.
Yeah, absolutely. So not only do we have a curriculum that no matter which program it is that you're coming into, we have a full 3-day in-class curriculum to just educate our sales reps on the industry. We believe that, competence really creates confidence in this industry. And so having guys that are well equipped with the right tools to go into battle is really important. So before we hire our guys, obviously we want to make sure that they have the right mentality to be able to learn. A lot of people, their egos are way too big to even come into a room. I don't care if they're the best salesperson, doesn't matter. Like, I don't want them on the team. You got to be able to humble yourself and come in and learn. Doesn't matter if you're making millions, multiple six figures, come in, learn the system. It's a 3-day class that we do to make sure that you know all the ins and the outs of the industry. And once we go from there, we take you into we go from classroom training into like a field training. And that's something where you're going to be paired with someone that's currently being, is successful in this industry already, because we believe that you need to see it to believe it, and you can emulate that once you see it. And so once you go from classroom and you're able to learn it, then you apply it in real life, and then we set you free. And we have a course and a curriculum that we're actually working on. We're building it out right now. It's kind of like Lightspeed, where you're going to have the opportunity to go on there. You can see all of the different, different parts and steps to each one of those companies, and exactly how you can integrate yourself into that company. And whether you're in New York, you're in Miami, or you're in LA or Scottsdale, doesn't matter. You're going to be able to hop on, start learning on that educational platform. And before you know it, you're going to be able to work with us in any state in the US in some capacity.
That was going to be my next question. So everything that you guys do is pretty much virtually, right?
Yeah. So,
okay.
Yeah. And so everything we do is as far as the virtual onboarding, we can recruit from it really anywhere. And when I say recruit, like, we are a roofing and sales and solar company, but I'd heard a speaker the other day say something about, like, the moment that we went from being a good company to a great company is the moment that we became a recruiting company. And I think that whenever I came down and we started building these roofing companies with Dan and myself and Rio and these other partners, I think the biggest component that we were able to add is bringing in that recruiting arm and showing the opportunity that was already in the marketplace. But I think I rabbit trailed a little bit from what your question was. Where did I go from that?
No, that's okay. No, and that leads us into our next question is so, okay, once I sign up, once you guys hire me, do I got to move to Scottsdale, Arizona, or can I work from the state that I'm coming from?
Yeah, so great question. So whether you're a rep or you're a contractor or you're a PA or you're a solar company, whatever that looks like right now, we work with you all. And so if you're a rep that's coming in on, you just want to come out, you want to learn about our program, make some money, you're going to be able to onboard, interview, start the education all online. Now, if you do want to work with our sales team directly, we do have a headquarters in Arizona. We're also building in Tucson, which is southern Arizona. Phoenix is where we're headquartered at, as well as Salt Lake City. So just started building in Salt Lake with plans to come out here to probably Tampa area in the next year or so. But as of right now, Tucson, Phoenix, and Salt Lake City is where we're actively recruiting to bring reps into.
Okay.
We offer great housing opportunities as well to make sure that guys can come out, test out the opportunity. But to answer your question, you guys are able to work with us virtually as well. We integrate with a lot of different programs. So whether you're already in a roofing company, already in an adjusting company, we specialize in adding in a component to your sales process with solar. Or let's say you're an adjuster and you need a solar expert, or you're a solar expert and you need a public adjuster. We're able to really implement ourselves into your program and blow it up. So it's not just reps that we're looking at bringing in. We're looking at every contractor that's out there. You guys are leaving 30% of the business on the table right now by not having, leverage in the solar industry. At the end of the day, the marriage is a perfect one. And when you're not selling solar and roofing, and you're not selling roofing when you're in solar, you're an idiot, man. You got to figure it out. So that's what we're trying to do here at this convention, show people what the value is of doing both of those things.
Okay. So solar and roofing or solar together as one. So that's what you guys are also doing. So we're going to get off track here a little bit opposed to your recruiting funnel. I'm going to call it a recruiting funnel, which sounds like honestly a brilliant idea of how to recruit and retain hires for your Scottsdale location or Phoenix.
Yeah.
Phoenix. I'm sorry.
Hopefully in Scottsdale within the next 6 months. And when I say hopefully, I mean it. We're going to be there.
Okay. So let's talk about roofing and solar here a little bit. So when did you guys get in? What came first, the chicken or the egg, the roofing or the solar?
So for me personally, the roof or the solar came first. My business partners, they've been in roofing for, a long time. So they've been in door-to-door roofing. I came from more of the insurance route. So I was doing over-the-phone sales, really set to sit. And then I started doing virtual whenever COVID came around. And, making good money, man. I was making some really good money over the phone and started an office in South Phoenix teaching guys how to hustle over the phone. And then before I knew it, I heard about the solar gold rush out in California. I'm from San Diego myself. So I said, you know what? I've been in life insurance for 4 years. I love it, but sales skills can translate to any industry. So I said, we're going to go out to California and learn what this thing's all about. So we brought like 50 guys with us that were previously doing life insurance. And just like that, people got their teeth kicked in. Lasted like 9 months out in the Bay Area. And we were like, hey, you know what? It's cool working for a big company. It's cool working for Sunrun. You know, they're like the biggest residential solar company in the US. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter how big of a company you're working for. What matters is the environment and the type of people you're working around. Right. And I think a lot of people are, especially my age, they're jumping bridges right now and they're jumping opportunities because the grass is greener somewhere else. Yeah. Or it looks greener somewhere else. And so, you know, Sunrun has this big appeal because of their marketing and their brand, and, you know, not to throw them under the bus here or anything like that, but they're massive, man. They've got sales organizations everywhere. And so a lot of people are going to feel me when they hear this, that I was there. Not only was, you know, I could feel that the training was not up to par, but also that it just felt very sleazy, you know, not just the relationship with the customers, but with the managers. And then also at the end of the day, like I was knocking on and talking to so many people that had worked with that same company a year prior or 2 years prior. And when you work for a company where all of the people that have already worked with that company have negative things to say about it, it's really hard to stay motivated. And I know believing in your product is number one. And when you don't have conviction, you are like, dude, what am I doing? And I just gave up my last 4 years in a different industry so I could be a part of this. The money was great, but it wasn't worth it. And so we moved down to Arizona and we partnered with roofing, public adjusting with Adjust Pro Solutions, Dan Zrehen, Smitty, Dan Smith is, we call him Smitty, and Ruben Brasher, and myself and Rio Osorio, who I was partnered with. We were able to kind of collaborate, bring a sales team in, and took about 1.5 years to figure it out. But yeah, the solar came first, and for Dan and them, the roofing came first. It was funny because I told you, if you're in one without the other, you're kind of an idiot. I was kind of the idiot. Because I was like, hey, I don't even know what a fascia board is. 12 months later, I was partnered in a roofing company as a VP of sales. So right on. Very grateful.
No doubt. So we got into solar too. Like you said, it's kind of like the next gold rush, I think. And hopefully it is. If it is, it isn't. But I feel like we've gotten out in front of the curve. We became GAF certified. GAF Energy certified with GAF. And we are also Master Elite, which will be at the Wealth Builders Convention next week.
No one can touch it.
Right. So it is. So we got, when GAF started to offer the solar, we wanted to get in, get trained. And I feel like it's a good fit for us because we are the roofing contractor. So for us, roofing came first, then solar came second. But with us being already on the roof, and so many times that we've had to go out and replace or repair the roofs that we've already installed, and another third-party solar company came in and literally destroyed our roofs because they don't know much about the roofing and how things work, or they were too close to the valley. They're not moving the vent pipes. They're leaving one panel of solar out.
Doing it the right way is too much.
Yes, for sure. So we thought it would be a good fit. And since we're already on the roof and with the GAF Energy, it's actually installed like a shingle. So, and it all pigtails
and
together.
It's aesthetic and it's beautiful. It's efficient. I mean, it's awesome.
It really is. So like you said, I feel like, and who doesn't want to save money at the end of the day, right? So by installing solar on your house, and the cost and the rising cost of energy anymore, and let's face it, doesn't matter who's in the administration, it's going to raise the cost of energy, whether it be fossil fuel, whether it be whatever type of energy there is, that cost is going to go up because unfortunately there's what's called inflation. Inflation has to happen in order for things to readjust. Okay. And that's what we're kind of in the midst of. So if I could have locked my auto fuel price back in 1999,
30 cents, 50 cents.
I would have back then. Well, now I have the opportunity of locking my electric bill in today's pricing with my solar. So then 10 years from now, I'm still paying the same price for electric.
And I use that analogy in almost every single sales presentation or training that I go through, is like the whole like locked in prepaid card. Like, hey, if I give you this and you swipe it at the pump for the next 30 years, it's going to be locked in at 30 cents. Would you do it? Sure you would, but you would call me insane and I'd probably have to sit with you for 2.5 hours like I am right now. Right. And so let me ask you, when you go to the doctor and you don't know what's going on or something's wrong and they prescribe you something to give you a solution, do you usually listen to them, or do you say, hey, I have my own idea. I think I know what's best.
Right.
And I don't think people understand that. And it's sad because the solar industry, there's so many people in it right now that are not doing the right thing, that are making us kind of get a bad reputation and a bad name. Same thing with public adjusting, really any industry, right?
Yes.
But with the door-to-door approach, there's so many uneducated reps that are out there that are murking the waters for the people that are trying to do it the right way, like yourself and myself.
Yes.
That it really creates a challenging position for a homeowner to be in. Because number one, is it common sense to go solar? For sure. I mean, the federal government's pushing it, which, you know, maybe a good thing, maybe a bad thing. We don't know. But there's a tax credit to it. It's going to increase the value of your home. You're going to lower and lock in a bill that you're already paying. And in my company, what we specialize in is, hey, contractors out there that are risking and losing 30% of their business whenever, an adjustment or an insurance claim gets rejected, or what happens when you get an insurance claim where they covered $3,000 of work, but their deductible is $3,000, and there's another $10,000 of work that needs to be done. They're up a creek without a paddle.
Yes.
And so the benefit of solar, especially in this industry with these economics and a marketplace like we have right now, the community cannot afford a $10,000 roof in cash. And when all you have is the options to sell people on 10% APRs, 5% APRs over 3 years, or a cash offer, you're really limiting yourself.
Yes.
And yeah, you can say all day long, oh, my guys are sales gods and my guys are savages. I don't care. There are people out there that do not have $4,000. There are people that are out there that do not have a good credit score.
Yeah.
And the beautiful thing about solar is you can leverage that no out of pocket, leverage that financing, leverage that tax credit, which you're probably not going to get if you are not able to afford a deductible. Yeah. But it's still so beneficial that long term you're putting money right back in your own pocket.
Absolutely. It's reinvesting back into yourself, into your home, into most people's largest investment.
That's true. That was different for me because I went from grabbing people's bank accounts and socials as far as like my biggest barrier of entry on making a sale.
Yeah.
In life insurance, and that was challenging to do over the phone. But to get someone to same day as you meet them on your doorstep, to get inside of your home, invite you into their home, sit at the table and say, hey, obviously this is common sense. Mm-hmm. Let's go ahead and sign this $80,000 loan, and your house, you know, what you owed you buy your house for $300.
Yeah.
And what's your most expensive car? 20?
Yeah. Right. Exactly. Yeah. It's their biggest investment. And that's where good companies like yourself and ours come into play, to be able to take care of people the right way the first time. You know what I mean? For the longevity of the company, the longevity of the roof, the longevity of their trust. So then they refer your company. And we talked about this a good bit this week, is about the brand. Like, a lot of people think the brand is their logo when it's not. It's your past, previous, and current clients, customers that are actually your brand. You want them screaming from the rooftops, talking about your company, and those referrals are worth its weight in gold.
Yeah, you may be hot shit right now, but what are your reviews say from a year ago and 2 years ago? I'm a big believer that earning your customers is not like a one-time transactional thing. And it's like you said, you started the whole podcast off with it. It's not just relationships with people at these networking events. Yes. It's relationships with your customers. Exactly. And when you look at my calendar right now, you go in there, you'll see stacked days throughout 365 days of the year where I have customers' birthdays, anniversaries, reminders, because it doesn't matter if I installed on their house a year ago.
Yeah.
I built a personal connection with that person. And where people are getting it wrong, especially the younger people that are in the solar industry, is you guys will throw anything at the board. And you guys will do anything to get a sale, to get that net sale. It doesn't matter if they sign documents if they do not install. And it doesn't matter if they install and you get a $10,000 paycheck, mm-hmm. and they go and they burn your company to the ground and they take you to the attorney general. It's not worth it. No. And so many people, they have like these like glasses on, these shades on, and it's like all they can see is like the money in front of them, man.
Yeah.
Take those shades off. This industry is going to be around for a long time. Educate yourself. And do things the right way the first time.
Yes.
And 100%, man. Bringing quality value and honesty to customers is rare in this industry.
Absolutely, man.
Quality products is even more rare.
It is. It really is, man. As long as you continuously do the next right thing, man, things will come to fruition for you. And it really sounds like that you and Dan and your other partners have started out on the right path and are going down the right path. And I really think that your recruiting funnel is definitely something unique. And I think a lot of people should probably hear about it, because I don't think too many other companies have like this recruiting funnel, like this vetting process to make sure they're the right fit for the culture at your company. Because a lot of times certain people, they could be hard workers. They could show up every single day, but they might not just fit that culture. Right. You know what I mean? And it's unfortunate But if they're just not a good fit, and it seems like that one bad egg can spoil the entire bunch.
Hey, then I'll refer them to the company down the street. Everybody can eat in this industry. And
Right.
if they're not ready for our culture, then maybe they can go to somebody else's. Learn it,
Exactly.
and whenever they're ready, they can
Right.
come back. But
Exactly.
I want nothing but success for those people too.
Yes, no doubt. And that's, it happens to us too. We've given them good referrals. Unfortunately, like your work ethic is great, but you just don't fit the culture. So
Right.
anyhow, I think on that note, this is a good time to wrap this thing up, man. Things are starting to get bumping out back here, man. Thank you for coming on the show, Daniel.
Yeah, thank you, TC Backer. I appreciate you guys, man.
You're welcome.
It's been awesome watching you guys and all the interviews you do and bring a lot of value to the industry. Hopefully I was able to share some myself.
Oh my God, it was great information, man. Thank you for waiting, for coming on the show.
Absolutely. It's worth the wait.
All right, man. You guys have a great day. I don't know if this will be our last one or first one or which one this is going to be, but thank you for tuning in to Behind